Hi, welcome to another Saturday Service here with Gfg. We are here to encourage and educate you guys in different types of careers. Before I begin, I would like to thank you guys for coming and joining us here in our session. So today we'll be talking about civil engineering, and I am your host Neo Maduba, and with me here I'm not alone. I'm with Donald Muzwani. He's a 30-year-old man who grew up in Mihlaring.
One, Donald Makoda. As Neo said, I'm almost 30. I'm turning 30 in a couple of days. Um, I grew up in a village called Mitlareng. It's in Zebediela. And I attended primary school and high school there, where I finished high school at Sibicha Senior Secondary. Shout out to Sibicha Senior Secondary. And I moved on to the University of Cape Town, where I did my Bachelor of Science in engineering, in civil engineering. And since graduation, I've been practicing as a water resources engineer. So, in a nutshell, that's who I am.
So, Mazwan, can you please tell us where did it start for you, this whole engineering thing?
I would say the seed was initially planted when I was like in primary school, like late primary school, and it was probably solidified when I was in like in the early parts of my high school. One of my brothers actually told me about civil engineering, and at the time I really didn't understand it. I didn't really understand engineering in general, but since he told me about it and he gave me an example of people that I knew around the village that were doing well for themselves, but I didn't exactly know what they were doing. But that's when I gained interest, and towards the later part of my high school years, that's when I started researching about it, and that's where I tried to look for opportunities, and I saw that a lot of opportunities lay in civil engineering.
So, what is it that you enjoy about civil engineering as a person individual?
I like that we are problem solvers. We get briefed on a problem, and we go through different iterations. We develop solutions or potential solutions, and we test at a high level. We test each of the solutions, and then the beautiful part comes when an idea becomes reality. It's kind of a fulfillment. It's a cathartic thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, if there's someone at home that has the same interest of solving problems and creating imaginary things into reality, what would you say to them engineering? What would you say to them engineering is, and what do you do daily?
Um, yeah. Um, I, I would say, uh, in particular, let me talk about civil engineering. It's a it's a professional discipline uh, that deals with the design, construction, and maintenance of your physical infrastructure, um, and as well as to a lesser extent the natural environment as well. Yes, there's several subdisciplines within civil engineering. I'm in the water engineering part. There's in our office we have transportation engineers who design transport systems, and not the vehicles themselves, but the infrastructure like the roads and the networks. We have structural engineers that design buildings and bridges. Um, and then we have geotechnical engineers that design the foundations, and they deal with the soil basically. Um, um, there's several others, other subdisciplines, but yeah, I think those are the relevant ones for now.
So speaking about sub disciplines, like what are they? Like, can you please clarify them in order? Like, what are they?
Um, I'll start off with structural engineers. They are concerned with buildings, like I said. They are concerned with bridges, um, buildings. It's from your ordinary houses to your malls to your skyscrapers. They are the structural engineers. And then you have the geotechnical engineers, which I just alluded to a minute ago.
Mm.
They deal with the soil. The geo means earth, so they deal with. They make sure that whatever structure you put on a particular soil, it doesn't fail. It doesn't collapse. It doesn't injure people.
Mm.
And then you have water engineers who are concerned with uh, the water as a resource itself, and then the hydraulics of getting the water from a source like a dam or a borehole to your reservoirs, from your reservoirs through to people, um, and then transportation engineers as well. They design roads, they design the network systems.
Mhm.
There's environmental engineers. They deal with the environment, self-explanatory. And then there's also within the civil engineering discipline, also construction project managers. They tie in everything together. They bring a project to life from inception all the way to completion. There are others that are perhaps not relevant for us, like um, your earthquake engineers. In other countries, they are relevant, but for us, I've not met anyone that was particularly interested or particularly invested in earthquake engineering.
So, if there's someone at home and they want to do this, what subjects do you think they should study in high school?
Uh, it's very important to have your maths. That's the first thing. Maths is not just about the numbers. It's not just about getting x equals a certain number. It's about the problem solving. Actually, it's almost like a program for your mind. You're programming your mind to solve problems. To to take something very very um, complicated and making it very simple. You need your science, obviously, because you need to understand the interactions between forces and reactions and 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 and, and all that stuff. So you need, in essence, you need your maths. You need to do very well. I must say, you need to do very well in your maths and your science. You also need to communicate because you work with people. So you need your languages as well, especially English. In South Africa, I think most of our public universities, you need English for your communication. So and other, you need to be, I would say, well-rounded to pursue this career at any university in the country.
Oh, okay. So, I hear the grade 12s, there are certain points that they have to get to study in certain universities. Can you please explain that for me?
Yes, I think that changes as your curriculum changes. When I was in high school, for example, the APS score that you needed was somewhere around 42 or something like that, which meant you needed like an average of level 6 in each of your subject. So, but having said that, that is just the minimum, and I believe it's quite competitive. In most universities, the minimum will not get you there because there's so many people applying. If there's 100 spaces, I'm sure it's not gonna be just 100 people that meet the minimum. So you must not aim for the minimum requirement. Just go beyond that, because once there's more people that meet the minimum, then we start to I believe the universities start to look which one is better than the other. So you need to think beyond minimum. Just think your best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is it important where you study? Because you find there's someone that's unfortunate enough to not be able to get those points that you get to go to certain universities and colleges. So, is it important where you study, like after high school?
To some extent, I believe it is. Uh, Especially because in the engineering field, you have, I don't want to say it's a hierarchy of like professions. You have an engineer, you have a technologist, and you have a technician. And I'll explain to you what that means. That means if you want to be an engineer, your first qualification must be a BSc or a BEng degree. A BSc and a BEng, I've heard it's essentially the same thing. It's just that your University of Pretoria and your University of Stellenbosch, for example, they will offer you a Bachelor of Engineering, which is a BEng, and your University of Cape Town and the University of Witwatersrand will offer you a Bachelor of Science in Engineering. It seems the previously Afrikaans universities, they offered the BEng, and the previously English medium universities offer the BSc Eng. And then to be a technologist, you need a BTech. This is usually you study for a BTech after completing a national diploma, and the national diploma and the BTech are both offered at universities of technology. I'm sure you know a few of them, like
Yes.
TUT, the Muzwani University of Technology, VUT, and the Vaal University of Technology. So, even though like they are termed differently, in practice, I find that we do almost the same things. In my office, for example, we have all these professions, but their roles are not they're not fixed on what's your qualification. Your level of experience also counts in terms of what your role is. So, and also another important thing is that whatever institution that you choose to study at, they must be accredited. Obviously, they must be accredited first by, I think, Umalusi and the likes. And then also they must be accredited by the ECSA. The ECSA is the Engineering Council of South Africa. They usually have on their websites like a list or lists of accredited programs and their associated universities.
Okay. So we'll take time to listen to one of our contributors that sent us a voice note earlier.
My name is Satenda Katsumbe. I am a civil engineering graduate from the University of the Witwatersrand. My experience is in civil engineering consulting, working mainly on municipal infrastructure services projects, which is your roads, your storm waters, your water reticulation. So mostly I have been working as a resident engineer to do quality control checks and site supervision of construction works on site. The fourth industrial revolution is here to stay. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. We need to embrace it. Embracing the fourth industrial revolution also entails opening our minds towards embracing different technology options and its different forms in which technology presents itself. I would encourage someone to pursue a career in civil engineering because we are constructing, development is happening, infrastructure development is happening at a rapid pace, at a faster pace than we've ever seen before. But however, we need to be open to the possibility that we're going to have to embrace technology in our day-to-day living, in our day-to-day construction activities. The COVID pandemic has really given us a feel or a glimpse of how we need to embrace technology rapidly, especially when it comes to occupational health and safety practices on site. Back in the day before the pandemic, it was easier for us to physically be on site, for example, as a consulting engineer, as a resident engineer, or even as a construction engineer, with your employees, with your staff. It was easier to be physically on site and to maintain physical contact during execution of site activities. But now that the pandemic has happened, it has shown us that we need to come up with strategies and ideas of tightening our occupational health and safety regulations so that we adhere to them religiously to enable the protection of the safety of the employees on site. So I think that's one thing, that's an opportunity, space and opportunity gap that we need to tap into and think about drastic, so that we can come with drastic measures to protect site personnel during construction. But regardless of that, construction is still happening, and technological advancements are still happening, infrastructure development is still happening, so we need personnel. However, as well, coupled up with that, with the advancement of technology is coming artificial intelligence and the introduction of robotics. So as a civil engineering personnel, you now need to think, using your brain to think about the capabilities that you can bring in that a robot cannot do.
I heard in the voice note it says that technology might impact, but then you also said something about us thinking what can we do that technology cannot do. What can you add up on that?
Um, yeah, I completely agree with the contributor that we need to embrace technology because that's something we cannot run away from. Yes, I believe it's nice to have all these technologies, these robotics, and all these things. But at the end of the day, these things are programmed by human beings. They are told by human beings what they should do or what problems they should solve. So I think that's the upper hand that we have on them because um, they cannot do they cannot do anything that you don't tell them. So you still need people behind them to tell them this is what we want you to do. So I think it's I don't see it as a threat to the profession. I see it as something that will enhance what we do as engineers in general, not just particularly civil engineers.
So, which means that it comes with challenges, but then there's also opportunities in it. So, what are the opportunities of it and challenges besides us thinking ahead of the robots? What can we do and what they cannot do? What are the other challenges and opportunities?
Um, uh, I believe one of the opportunities is that with the introduction of this technology, like I said, we can do things more efficiently. I was thinking about your transport systems, for example. If we have like artificial intelligence that is being fed with live data on the status of traffic, for example, on a certain highway or a general carriageway somewhere in South Africa, if it's being fed with say live data of if there's congestion somewhere, then you can connect that to say a variable message sign like a billboard that you can change, that you can update in real time. You can tell the people if they are heading towards that particular highway, no, there's congestion here, there's an accident here. You can do that in real time, and that I think it's very useful. It's an opportunity that I think very much exists. The challenge is that because we're gonna have the assistance of this, maybe I cannot be 100% sure, but maybe it'll be so efficient that perhaps you don't need so many people to do that job, or a job that usually takes 10 people now can be done by 5 people because now you are doing it so efficiently. So it's it's a challenge. I think we can accept that it's a challenge.
So, speaking about challenges and opportunities, are there business opportunities out there for civil engineers?
Yes, definitely there are. I personally know people that run consulting firms that they've previously worked for employers, and then after gathering all this experience, they opened up their consulting firms. There's also people that run they are contractors. They do the actual work. They carry out the works that is planned and designed by the engineers. So there's definitely opportunities, but at the same time, I feel like those opportunities very much depend on the state of our economy, because what usually happens is that if the economy is doing very well, is growing at 5% per annum, then you have this boom in infrastructure. Everyone wants to build a mall, or someone wants to build a hotel or whatever. So these you have a lot of opportunities coming in. But if now, like now, the economy is not doing so well, those things disappear, and then you have a lot of companies closing down, which is not a good thing.
So, speaking about companies closing down and economy dropping, meaning that the industry kind of fails in a way. So, are the jobs lucrative?
I don't know if it's an easy question to answer. To be honest with you now, I guess it depends. But what I can say is that there's no job. There's no job that can make you rich. As an employee, I don't think there's any job that you can do and be well off. I think you need to think outside of being an employee, and maybe perhaps being an employer. But also that comes with its own challenges. But that's the reality of life. I mean, you have to take risks to get the rewards. The more risks you take in life, the higher the rewards usually. So you have to you can't have your cake and eat it. You have to take the risks that go with the potential rewards.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So, say I myself, right?
Yes.
I'm into this industry,
Yes.
and then I happen to start myself a business.
Yes.
So, does it affect me socially in terms of me, my family, and my other lifestyle besides work?
I think you're gonna have to clarify me there.
Okay. I'm trying to say, like, if I'm a businessman, right?
Yes.
And I own this company around civil engineering in that field, like, the kind of work that is there, does it affect my social life, or it's just like any other person that is an employer and owns a business?
No, obviously, whatever business that you are into, not just in civil engineering, obviously it's gonna affect you. It's gonna affect other parts of your life. I think that you have to accept at the beginning. It's one of the risks that you take as an employer. You say you're gonna cut down on your social life because you have to. Because now, as an employer, you have to worry about everything. You don't just worry about one thing. You don't have just one responsibility. The whole business is your responsibility in whatever field or industry that is.
Okay. So now we're gonna take time and listen to one of the questions that our viewers have sent to us.
good day. Well, I read somewhere that structural engineers are civil engineers, but not all civil engineers are structural engineers. Can you please share some light as to what makes the difference?
Seeing that civil engineering is more of a hands-on type of toil, and looking at the current predicament of careers being digitalized in the integration of the fourth industrial revolution, it is clear that the margin for success is deteriorating as the number of available posts fade away. What is it that can grant me the level of certainty I need to consider it as one of my career choices?
Hello, what qualities do you need to be a civil engineer, or essential skills for a career in civil engineering?
I say that I want to be sure if I go into in this industry, is it gonna work out for me? What can you say to the person?
I want to say there's no, I cannot give them that certainty. I don't think there's anything that's certain in life. The only things that are certain is tax and death. So I cannot say you will be successful if you go into civil engineering, and I cannot at the same time say you won't be successful. It has its own challenges. It has its own opportunities. It depends on you as a person, and obviously you have to have a little bit of luck. But I believe if you work hard and you stay focused, I think you can achieve whatever you set your mind to.
Yeah, there was the other one that also spoke about qualifications. So what are those qualifications?
I think the qualities that you need to
Qualities.
to be a successful engineer. First of all, maybe we need to define what's a successful engineer. But in my opinion, I think one of the qualities, obviously, the essential one, is you must be able to be a problem solver. So you must get a brief and be able to say, okay, I have these three possible solutions to this problem, and test each one of them. You must be analytical in your thinking. You must be able to think critically. Those, I think, they are the essentials. But you need to be able to work with people. I think in all the projects that I've worked in, you work with other people, so you must be able to accommodate different personalities and all that stuff.
Okay. So now that we're speaking about qualifications, is there, like, if I have the qualifications to become an engineer, is there anything else I can do besides the things that are found in civil engineering? Like, what else can I do with the qualifications?
I'll tell you this. Of all my classmates from varsity, okay, I'm friends with them, or I'm connected with them, or with a lot of them on LinkedIn, and I see there's a lot of people that are doing other things that are not civil engineering. So clearly there are other opportunities. I've seen people that are in banking. I don't know how that happened, but I've seen people that are doing they're in data science, for example, and apparently civil engineers in particular are in demand in data science. And also, if you are into academics, I think you can study further and specialize in something that's not even civil engineering, even though your first qualification is civil engineering. So in a nutshell, it's possible to have a civil engineering qualification and not necessarily practice as one.
Oh, okay, I hear you.
Yes.
So we'll take time and listen to more of our questions that came from our viewers.
Hi, my name is Katesa, and I would like to know which subjects we should choose so that we can be able to pursue the career of civil engineering.
A lot of pupils are currently facing the dilemma of having to choose between a career path that is based on passion and commitment and that of which is based on the employment rate of this country. And considering both narrows down the margin for choice, how has civil engineering been able to address these issues and redress factors like career uncertainty and fear of failure that are at play?
Hi, my name is Namaduba. I'm an employed member of GFG. My question regarding this field is, do you think to...
Hello. What natural skills and or aptitudes does one need for this occupation? And does it really matter if I don't possess one or all of them?
About choosing between opportunity, choosing between passion and also looking at the state of this country, choosing also jobs. So what do you think they should choose, passion or go with what makes money?
I cannot really, I cannot prescribe on that. But what I can say, what my opinion is that I think every industry has its own challenges. I think if you, and things change. Things change. 10 years ago, just before the world markets crashed, our economy was growing at like crazy. It was booming basically, and then things changed. So I don't think we can be pessimistic and say because now our economy is hardly growing, there won't be any opportunities for civil engineers. I believe there will be. I believe I'm an optimist.
Okay.
I believe things change. It's a cycle. There's a season for everything. So I think I would go with passion. I think it also helps in that if you are passionate about something, you tend to enjoy it more, and if you enjoy it, you tend to do well in it. You tend to do better than if you don't enjoy it.
Oh, okay. So I hear you, bro. So tell me, you're speaking more about going with passion.
Yeah.
So if there's somebody that has the same idea that you said, go with passion and believe in it, but then they have serious doubts, what is the one word that you can tell them?
One thing I've learned is that no one has it all figured out. Everyone is just trying their best. So just do your best. Just give it your all. Don't leave anything behind. And then I think if you do that, you generally feel better, whatever the outcome is. And usually it works out anyway. So do your best. Don't go with self-doubt. Go with belief and be an optimist. Think positively. I think our minds are powerful. If you think something, usually it happens. But if you think negative, usually the negative things will happen. If you think positive, the positive things happen. So I believe, don't doubt yourself. Go for it.
Oh, okay. We'll take time and listen to our other contributor that said something to us also.
Hello. What are the different sectors in civil engineering, and which ones are the most popular or most important, especially in our country? And how does one decide which sector they want to join?
My name is Wukosi Baloy. My question is your job as a civil engineer lucrative, and would you consider it essential, and why? My name is Wukosi Baloy. My question...
Thing about it being essential, can you please explain that to us?
Yes, I believe it is essential. Civil engineering is a very old profession. I think it's one of the oldest professions that exist. So clearly it is essential. If it has outlived all these revolutions, from your first industrial revolution to your third industrial revolution, I think it is very essential. We need, at the end of the day, we need all this infrastructure. and we need water, we need to flush our toilets, we need all these things are done by civil engineers. So it is essential, in my opinion.
So do you personally have any projects that you have worked on since you've been a civil engineer?
Yes, I've worked on several projects. One of the memorable ones was a water treatment plant that we did in one of the villages around here. Essentially, the plant, there was an existing plant there, but it wasn't producing enough water, and our company was appointed to plan, design, and oversee the construction of that plant, and we were able to successfully implement that, and it's one of the projects that I'm really proud of, because now because that plant services about 17 villages, and I'm proud that I think by now most of those villages are being supplied from water that's been treated there. So yeah, it's one of my highlights so far.
So what are other like important things that people do not realize about civil engineering that they undermine besides water and also construction? What are the other things that people undermine that are very, very important?
I'm not sure I can answer that question because everything, almost everything is civil engineering. Your roads. I mean, in my village, for example, we don't have we still don't have a flush system or sewage system. Your sanitation, your level of sanitation there it's not where it should be. I think it's one of the things that we take for granted, sanitation.
So what are other important things you can say to our viewers back at home before we can close?
I just want to encourage everyone to use whatever technologies that they have at their disposal to research for themselves. Do not take my word for it. Research for yourselves and see if you find civil engineering interesting enough for you. And if you do decide to go for it, just go for it. Do not doubt yourself. Believe in yourself, and everything will fall into place. And do your best.
Thank you.
My message.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much for being here with us. We are very, 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 very thankful for your help and also your contribution to our show, and also educating our viewers at home and also educating the youth. Thank you very much. And that is it with us. Yeah, thank you very much, our viewers.